Welcome to Week 7 of Can Blue, a hockey podcast covering the New York Rangers and the Montreal Canadiens. I'm your host, Ben, covering the Rangers side.
I'm Brendan, covering the Canadiens. I thought you said Canadiens for a second.
I'm Rangers. I've been nonstop at a hockey tournament this weekend up in Lake Placid. The 12U's took home the gold, so that was huge.
Nice.
But it's a lot of games, a lot of travel, and a lot of late nights, so I'm really tired. But no, I'm the Rangers side. As always, this is Brendan.
I'm the Canadian side, of course.
I want to just jump right into it. It seems like more and more is happening around the league. There's some coaches firings. The Bruins, Jim Montgomery got fired, and then 2 days later got
immediately
picked up by
hired.
the Blues.
Yep.
The Alex Ovechkin news, he's got some fracture in his leg, but
hate to see it.
He looked like he was in good spirits walking around, so it might only be like a 4 to 6 week type of thing. He was
no
on
surgery?
I don't think so. He was on such
good.
a tear though that
15 goals.
Stinks. Yeah, 50, and he has 27 to break it. He was on a heater, so I'm hoping when he comes back,
he could jump right back on it.
Really big. We're recording a day late because of the tournament. As of today, a bombshell dropped from the Rangers that they're pretty much putting up a for sale sign, to say the least. Similar thing was done in Pittsburgh, and you saw a kind of minor trade happen a week or two ago with them. They said everyone's open except for Crosby to be traded. We're in a similar spot where I think there's a few untouchables. There's a few we can't move because they're not going to waive their full no trade. I want to talk about that a little bit later in the episode, after we cover some games. But it's.
I was pretty shocked to hear some of those names. One not so much.
That's called a teaser. I like it.
Yeah.
So Rangers had 3 games this week. I'll start with game 1. I'm gonna go quick through these games because the biggest thing is the trade stuff.
They were
and
less than
it was
500.
terrible. Yeah. They went 1-2. The one win came on the first game of the week against the Canucks. Big continuation of the monkey off the back for Zibanejad. I think he had a goal and an assist. If not, he had 2 assists. And he was playing well. It really was the Kreider, Smith, Zibanejad line that had been going for a little while now. They looked more alive for sure, and it looked like a better game all around from everyone. I know Kakko also had a goal and assist. Cooley continued to contribute. And again, they're without Hedl still because of his injury in the Sharks game. So I wasn't too concerned with that game as a whole. Obviously, we got the win. It was kind of a back and forth. I think Quinn Hughes scored first pretty early in the game, and then Rangers scored 2, and then it was a bunch of lead changes, but we ended up with the 4-3 win. And it looked like maybe we're trending in the right direction, only to be just totally looking horrible in the next 2 games. And there was talks about possibly having maybe a flu going through the team, but that seems like just
excuses.
A scapegoat.
Come on,
total excuse. I mean, that's just what I was hearing on Twitter. But I don't think clearly the
it must
upper
be the
management,
flu guy. We're sucking all. It must
well,
be the
hey,
flu.
They were on a long, West Coast away road trip, so can get to you guys.
It could be the West Coast Blues then, not a
It's
illness.
True. They're missing their wives at home, maybe. I don't know. Well, that's I don't really have the storyline.
Usually West Coast trips for us are pretty rough too. So
yeah.
Well, I mean it's not really comparable, but we lose a lot on the West Coast.
Well,
trips.
you just lose a lot in general.
Yeah. More proportionally relative to the regular East Coast games that we visit.
Yeah, I mean, so I've also seen a lot, I think the Rangers now are 12-7-1, which is not a horrible, all things considered, it's not a horrible record. I think they're the first in the wild card.
But that's a far fetch from what they were last year.
Yeah, I agree, but I think, it's funny to see that, you have a winning record, but it's just, I mean, it's not funny. It's good to see that Drury and some of the upper management is I know we're winning, but we're getting bailed out a lot by goaltending, and the underlying stats and everything, that the way the team looks, it's not good, and it's kind of confirming the thoughts that a lot of people have, is that these guys are plateauing. They probably don't have the core right now to make it to the next level, to get past the conference finals and so on. I'm I'm going to talk more about that in the next 2 games, but that's really all I want to say about it. There's nothing I can say about these games, really. It's just like I want to get to the trade part, but I'm going to let us go on our usual cadence, and then we'll get to the end here.
So this week, we actually had, for a change, 2 games only. The Edmonton Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights. And the Oilers game was a surprise because all around we played probably our best hockey this year. So all around, our best performance this year was against the Oilers, which I wouldn't have thought because of the amount of talent they have. McDavid, Draisaitl, all alike. But we got a shutout, our second shutout for the year for Monty. Not a lot of scoring happened in the first period, and even the second, for most of the second as well. Both teams were just shutting each other down. We shut down McDavid and Draisaitl pretty well. They had a couple power play opportunities. There was also some 4-on-4 hockey in the first period. But we surprisingly shut them down. We kept them out of the danger areas, mostly kept them on the outskirts, forcing them to shoot from the outside. I thought that was really good. And our penalty kill absolutely killed it this game as well. The scoring only started in the last 30 seconds or so of the second, so pretty quiet in Montreal this game. It was a deflection. I forgot who the defenseman was, but Gallagher deflected it in. Later in the third, we got Gooley sniping one off Caulfield's shot and then empty netter. For the most part, just a very all-around great game, entertaining. It was nice to finally get a shutdown of a team for once.
It's good to beat another Canadian team too.
Also that,
which the Rangers are unable to do.
They also had the Rangers did also play the Oilers later on this week, but you could see. I mean, nothing against the guy. I love McDavid, but seeing him frustrated against us was, a good feeling to see. Just like they always like zoom in on him and like
on the bench,
on the bench is like very frustrated.
Yeah.
On like a missed opportunity, or when we scored the second goal, I think they zoomed in on him especially. So it was just funny to see. And overall, great performance by Monty, and which I can't say for the next one, which is weird because it's weird to have that dynamic with a goalie where they're really great for one game and then they're the complete opposite for another. But I can't say I blame him for the Golden Knights game.
The last 2 games of the week for the Rangers were Calgary Flames, which the score looked pretty close, but I think the shot totals was like 50 shots against and like 20-something more.
Too many shots.
And I think it was like a 4-3 loss, but that's just your goalie bailing you out, and it's just pushing you more and more down the line of something absolutely needs to change here.
And it was definitely Shesterkin in that, right?
Yeah. Quick had one of these games, but that was Shesty. And then the Oilers game, opposite of what you just said, with shutting down McDavid and Draisaitl. McDavid had 2. He might have had a 4-point night, and then like Draisaitl had 1 or 2. It was just like, it's what I've been saying from the start, and I feel like now, even though we've said they're 12-7-1 or something, it's not like the record is fine because they're getting bailed out. But even the beginning of the season, there was a lot of defensive issues and issues in front of their own net, issues getting the puck out, and things where it was concerning, but they were kind of winning because they strung a few wins together earlier in the season. So it was kind of just like.
But you're seeing the sustainability of that kind of tapering.
Yeah, totally. It's gone, and you play a good team. You've played 3 of the teams that are favored in the last couple weeks here with like the Panthers, the Jets, and the Oilers, and you've competed, but for some of them, but you haven't put up a real fight for any of them, and so it's really telling of the state that the Rangers are in now. For some of these games, we actually did see, since Hedl has been out, they've moved Kakko to center for a couple games, which is crazy. He apparently played a couple games in junior.
A couple?
Yeah, as center.
Center.
It's not.
I guess let's put him center.
He's your most skilled guy left that, like, that is on your third line there that like can probably do it. And I'm sure when he was asked, he was like, yeah, sure, of course I'll step up to the challenge. And they seem to like him because they've put him there a lot. Obviously, I think if Hedel was healthy, he would take that spot. But Kakko's filled in there, and I think that just shows his versatility as a player. I've always been a Kakko fan, so
You've been very big on him.
I really, I hope that kind of just keeps working for him. But you never know, like what's going to come about in these next couple of days with all these trades coming or
Trade rumors
coming through. But really, just 4-3 loss to the Calgary Flames, and then 6-2 loss to the Edmonton Oilers.
Wow.
And I always see people post on Twitter like, whenever someone loses 6-2, they say the Rangers should be 6-2 their stomachs right now. It's just like, yeah, that's how I feel, sick to my stomach.
How often does that happen for people to say that or come up with that?
No, it's like every time, like the Devils always say it, or like whenever they have issues,
that's why they're the most vocal against the Rangers.
Yeah, so that's how I feel like definitely it's just not looking good for the guys. We've been with this core for so long, it seems, and it just really we knew that this was the last ride at the end of the year, but it seems that the Grim Reaper's knocking on the door a little early. It's crazy.
You hate to see it.
We're in more turmoil than the Habs.
I mean,
no, like for
in
what
terms
you're
of
expecting.
mentality.
No, but
expectations.
for what you're expectation wise, like there wasn't a real expectation you guys would like make a hard playoff push.
Ours was
like
win
cup
the President's
or bust.
Trophy again, or
no, I don't
win
even
cup
care about getting clowned
cup or
all
bust.
the time about like that
Is
stupid
true.
banner that got hung up like regular season champs. It's just like that's not it. I don't care if you just got to get into the playoffs, and if you have a team that catches
The only reason
fire,
I mention that is because it gives good momentum for the playoffs to be that dominant team.
It does. You get to play a team like the Caps that had no business being there last year, but it's just no. The expectations.
Well, hopefully there's some time
short.
for you guys. Take the quick the Christmas break, holiday break, to rewind, reset things, maybe pull in some trades. I don't know.
Yep. That'll be the next segment.
As you suck your gut in, as Rangers fans suck their gut in. Yeah.
And cringe. That's all. I mean, usually we go a little bit more in depth with these games, but we won against the Canucks. We lost two
Dustin Wolf
horrible
beat
looking games.
Shesterkin.
It looked horrible. It was 50 shots. Oh my gosh. And so it was 50 shots and he let up 4 goals. He still has a 900 save percentage. It's crazy. It's
while Shesty's goes up.
Yeah.
Based on the shot volume.
Yeah. So I'm not going to go too much into those because I was away on a hockey weekend. They lost. They looked horrible. And the big news is what's coming after you talk about your next game. So
well, I also don't have much to talk about the Vegas because while we shut down the Oilers pretty amazingly, this game was a no-show from all regards. Nothing happened in first, 0-0. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, we're being competitive. We're in it. 0-0 after the first is good. Well, little did I know that they could let up 5 unanswered goals in the second off just turnover after turnover in the neutral zone and odd man rushes. It was pretty horrendous. So we give up 5 in a row.
Yeah. It sucks.
And you can't... It's hard to blame Monty. Yeah, some of them could have been saved, but it was just a defensive crumble. Our players, our forwards just couldn't keep up in the end, and they get rattled pretty easily. Once the opponent usually scores like 1 to 2 goals in quick succession, they kind of crumble further. So it's like a snowball effect. And that's how like the other goals continue to happen. Yeah. I wish there was maybe a timeout in between. Maybe after the third goal, I would have been like, if I was Marty, it's like maybe shake up the lines a bit. We're still rolling with the lines of Doc, Suzuki, Caulfield. I think we should completely separate that line. I'm don't think that's working out. I don't think Doc is working out on that line. Sorry, it's Doc, Suzuki, Slafkovsky, not
Okay.
Caulfield.
Caulfield's on
Caulfield's
second.
on the second
Yeah.
with Newhook and Jake Evans.
Evans.
Um,
Has his productivity gone down at all? Like scoring?
Caulfield's, yeah.
Down.
Yeah, it's gone
Yeah,
down.
okay.
He hasn't been scoring over the past week or so.
Yeah.
He actually
Well, look who's on his line.
Newhook.
He doesn't have Slav feeding him.
The thing is, Newhook, again, I've always said he has flashes of goodness, but then for the most part, he kind of disappears. Jake Evans, best third liner, not a second liner. And yeah, I want to see Caulfield back on the first. It's as simple as that. I don't think Doc is working on the first. And I think a lot of people would agree with me on that. I'm not trying to be harsh on Doc, it's just the truth.
Yeah.
I even forgot who scored in this game, but oh yeah, we scored off a power play. Emil Heinemann. Again, I'm still liking how this rookie's playing.
Yeah.
Just a nice snipe, one timer, and then Jaden Struble with a goal. I think that was his first of the year. But other than that, nothing happened.
And final score?
I think it was 5-2.
5-2. So Monty didn't get pulled, or he did?
He did in the third. Primo started the third.
Okay. So Primo had a shutout period.
I'm forgetting if it was 6-2 or 5-2, honestly.
Yeah.
But
I saw a report. I might have sent it to you, but it was like Mike Matheson. Like, he's on the team, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
he's like the guy we overutilize.
He's like for sure gonna get traded, is what the report said.
Wow, for
Yeah.
sure.
That's what it said.
It
It was like all but traded at this point.
At the beginning of the year, I would have agreed with that. But now, seeing how young our defense and like very immature defensively it is, I don't think it's a good idea to trade away a veteran like that, a skilled veteran, especially when David Savard is out the door eventually. We got more young guys coming on defense. Who's left on defense? No one else.
But it's like he's probably your biggest trade chip that you would
Yeah.
that
I would say
could
so.
get rid of. Yeah.
He's definitely our biggest trade.
'Cause you're not going to
chip.
get rid of your young talent, so it's like,
Yeah, there's no one else.
why not give Matheson
Unless
somewhere?
Christian Dvorak is looking for an
Devo,
easy
yeah,
trade.
yeah.
Or Andy, but they're not. No one wants them.
Because of this podcast, like my brother and I would talk about trade potentials for the Rangers, and he would like read off the UFAs or the potential targets, and like some of the Canadiens players came up, and he said Christian Dvorak, and I was like, no, we don't want him.
Well, maybe he gets revitalized as a
No,
Ranger.
I don't need Devo. From what I've seen and what I've heard from you, I don't need him.
It's the truth.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
But that's it for, I guess, the recaps at this point.
Yeah, I'll let you get to your point on the Habs first about the new player.
The new player. Well, we just heard, as of today, Patrick Laine is playing in a full contact jersey. So, when will he come? I think after Thanksgiving week, 2 weeks from now, probably. Maybe not the first week of December, but second week.
I think I said that.
I'm
December.
hoping to see Patrick Laine on the second line. This is when I mentioned maybe moving Doc now back to the second is good, because then we'll have Laine, Doc, Newhook, and Caulfield back on the first.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe Marty will want to try him on the first. He's definitely going to get power play one time. And so someone's going to get kicked off the power play one. My thinking is Doc, which I think he would fit well in power play two, which is arguably sometimes better than the first because it's got Hudson on it. But yeah, Patrick Laine wearing a Habs jersey for the first time in an official game.
Yeah. And hopefully, I know the Rangers play the Habs soon. He could be back for that. That seems a little early. I think it's next week or so. But that
Might
would be
be a bit
interesting. Yeah. Interesting if Laine's back for that one.
I'm not sure if a wager would be in place.
He's got to watch out for Rempe. That's all I'm saying. We called him up.
Why?
I'll tell you why. That's a perfect segue.
Would Rempe... Okay, listen.
All right.
If any player goes after a skilled player on
I
our
don't
team...
want him to do that.
They're Jack Guy's going to definitely... It would be Jack Guy first.
Yeah.
If anything.
I don't want that to happen.
He doesn't go after skilled people, does he?
Rempe, he's like
He just does any.
He just flails. Like, he just skates like a deer and flails.
Right.
Yeah. So the biggest thing happening in Ranger World right now, obviously we're losing. Obviously we're on a little bit of a slide. It's looking kind of worse and worse as it goes.
I would say this news is worse.
This news is
all
worse.
that.
I'm gonna just have my Twitter feed refresh, because if we break news on this, it'd be pretty funny, or at least like break news to us live here.
You know what sucks though?
What?
They're doing this talk after like a decent losing ground, like losing to a couple of teams badly. Not badly, but like it's discouraging to see this news after a couple losses.
Yeah, it is, but it's also encouraging because it's like, okay, at least management's willing to do something. They're not just like, oh, well, it doesn't matter.
So you think you're in the boat that that the Rangers should do something and make roster moves to shake things like the entire lineup?
Yeah,
up?
I think it was gonna have to come or happen like at the trade deadline. But if you see this
downward trend,
downward trend, then I don't mind them trying to fix it now. It's like I don't see them, like, if they kept the same team, I still think they would make the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's just like, it looks bad. Like, if you get to the playoffs or even the trade deadline and you're just getting by the skin of your teeth because your goalies are playing really well, that's not good. I'd rather attack it early, and maybe, when you bring guys in and get guys out.
I'm always afraid of just preemptive attacking early, like.
Yeah, but it's like, all right, I feel like it's risk and reward. Like, if it's high risk to like gut your core that you can get rid of, but it's also like you're saying your window is now. People expect you to be good. If you get bounced in the first like round of the playoffs because it was looking horrible all year and you didn't do anything about it, then I feel like the GM would be on the chopping block.
Right.
So Drury's doing what he thinks is the right move. I think it seems right. I want to go through. Basically, the news that we got today was that everyone's open. Everyone's like, basically, they're willing to hear trade details on many of the players on the Rangers. I think Shesterkin's safe. I think Zibanejad.
Laugh is safe.
Yeah, Laugh is safe. Zibanejad is safe because he has a full no trade list. And I think so. He's like unable to be traded anywhere unless he waives it. Which, why would he waive it? There's no reason to waive it. But
unless he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, but I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think
that's the case.
But Panarin's on the chopping block.
So I want to go through every player, but the biggest news, the three names that were on it, which I think two of them I was certain, and one of them is up behind me here, the Kreider jersey, and that one's gonna hurt if that ever comes through. But it's essentially the biggest names that are garnering the most interest are Kreider, Trouba, and Lindgren. Good top four or maybe middle pairing defensemen are hard to come by. So like, people know that Lindgren's on his last year of his deal. Trouba and the Rangers have kind of butted heads with contract stuff. They were trying to move him last year. So obviously those guys are prime candidates. The reason Kreider also makes sense is because of the no trade. His clauses in his contract, they're much less and easier to get around. I don't know if it's a partial. He might have like 10 or 16 teams.
Well, definitely Montreal's on that list.
Yeah, probably. I don't see him ever suiting up in a half street.
We don't want that anyway.
But so he's on the chopping block. He's on the trade block. This was also a possibility a couple years ago. I think it was entering either right after or right before the COVID season. He was like a prime trade target, and then they ended up signing him to like a 6 or 7 year deal.
And he scored 50 in that time period.
And since we've kept him, he's gone on to score 52 goals. He's consistently approaching or breaking Rangers goals or points records, which I like. That's what hurts me the most. Like, if he leaves, he's never going to get that. And that he's still an all-time Ranger. I think if he's traded today, he's still going up in the rafters, I think. Which I think it's,
you don't have many people
like
up
a
there.
year or two ago, people were like, maybe, and now the last couple years, like even that classic, like his hat trick in the Carolina series last year, in the third period, like that is a classic all-time game that when this is going up in the rafters, That's going to be playing. That's one of
I
the
will
highlights.
say, if you remember one Ranger over the past decade or so, it is Kreider.
He's the only one, too, on the team from the 2014 run where we lost to Jonathan Quick, who's on the team now. But so talking about, I want to just quickly go through. So those are the three, obviously. Going through the whole roster, though, I'll just do it quick. Panarin, it's a potential that he's traded, but I don't think so. The contract's too big. They don't want to gut the team.
He's your best scorer.
Yeah, they don't want to gut the. I'm just saying, like, they could. Like, I don't think they can trade Zibanejad because of, like, legality, contract reasons. So Panarin, they could. I don't think they want to, and I don't think, like, aside from, Draisaitl for Panarin, straight up, they're like, which is like, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, no one would ever do that. So Panarin's safe. Lafreniere, they just inked to a 7-year deal at a great number.
Yeah, no
He's
chance.
safe. Trocheck, we need centers. I know Zibanejad's safe, but, like, Trocheck has been the guy. I think if Trouba's gone, Trocheck is the leading candidate for the next captain. I think he's safe. That line should be safe. That doesn't scream any, like, it doesn't ring any bells for me for them to want to
The
trade them.
Hedl, what about the Hedl
So,
line?
yeah, I'm going to go, that's the third line. So I'm going to go to the second line now. I'm going to say Kreider, obviously on the chopping block. That sucks, but that is a big one. Zibanejad, I think we've covered this, but safe. He's just, unless we get him to wave. Someone was saying, well, if Kreider goes, what if Zibanejad, because they're like a little man couple.
They're bromance.
Yeah. So they're like, what if he waves to go with Kreider? And it's like, that would be crazy.
I would be
kinda
interested to see
like
the
it.
return.
Yeah, if it's a good return, I would kind of not mind it because the biggest thing is, like, we just haven't had someone to go above or, like, to replace Zibanejad, and we can't because he's getting paid the money he is and he has the contract that he has. And obviously he's been playing a little bit better, but, like, kind of overall bad over the last couple years. So I think Zibanejad's safe. Riley Smith, he's movable, but, like, you just got him.
Yeah, you can't.
And he's been playing fine. He's been solid, but it's kind of like you need players still. They're not doing this to miss the playoffs. They're doing this because we need a retool, and we have good pieces, but it's just not working all together. So those two, I think, for the most part, everyone's safe except Kreider. That hurts, and that he's going to get the biggest return, I think.
But my question is, did you know this before the news today? Did you have a feeling of this?
My feeling was I want Kreider to stay. I know that he could be a casualty after the season, but I didn't think that they would go as far as saying, unless, I mean.
So that's why it hurts.
Yeah, it hurt. Yeah. And it's, I think it's fair to say, like, if, we're in this spot or worse, my thoughts might have changed, but I didn't think we'd be in this spot or worse. I thought we'd be, like, kind of top of the league again, because, like, all these other teams, they don't fully scare me. We're just not winning the games that we were last year or the year before. So those are the top two lines. Third line with Cooley, we'll just call it Cooley, Hedl, Kakko. I don't know who, so I'll start with Cooley. He's been great and he's cheap. I don't think, unless it's a sweetener that, like, returns something big, I think he's pretty safe. He's been so good. He has like 7 or 8 goals. He has a lot of points.
Better player in return for that to be a valid thing.
I think that's a guy who's young, has potential, continues to develop, is scoring, and is cheap. I think you don't get rid of him.
Definitely.
Hedl, we just inked him to a shorter term deal, but like a couple years ago or whatever, and it's pretty inexpensive. It's around $4 million. He's injured though. Like, I don't see a team coming in and saying, "Yeah, I love what this guy does. Let's get him."
I'll take the injured
when
guy.
every single year he's been out for multiple games.
Yeah.
I think he's safe. If he comes back healthy soon and we get rid of, Kreider or someone else, maybe he slots up in a wing position on our top 6 too. If we don't get like a solid return, so like, I think he's safe. Kakko is definitely a potential to be traded, which also sucks. It's another one of my favorite players. Just, again, cheap, but like more movable than some of these other guys. There's been talks about him getting traded before, and it's always been like, well, no one is going to want him. But now he's been playing a little bit better. You see he can play center.
We'll take
Maybe they're showcasing him. Yeah, you want him? You have a couple Finnish guys with Laine and Kakko if you had him.
Yeah.
So
we're also into the whole rehabilitation thing of unwanted players.
It's true, but I mean, I don't know.
Like
I
Doc
think
and Line.
Kakko really has a role. Like he's been great possession-wise. I think if you're watching the game away from the puck, he does a lot of great things. If you're only watching for points or for stats,
Then you want more
he
out of
doesn't
him.
show up. He
Right,
doesn't show
right.
up. But there's things that he does that he drives play on that line with Hedl, and it's really fun to watch. But he's definitely potential. The fourth line and a couple other guys you have, it's Edstrom. I think he's safe. I think VC has been great. He could go. Honestly,
He's been bounced around,
the
though.
fourth line, they all
Yeah,
could be traded.
yeah,
No one. They're not
usually
going to be
they
a key
are.
piece. But like, if someone comes in and says, "I'll take Kreider and Edstrom, and we'll give you this guy and this guy,"
Right, yeah.
and they make sense, they would do it. It's not like there's no
Yeah, I
one
don't
they're
think they're
holding
safe.
on to on the
Fourth
bottom.
line, usually,
Yeah.
usually
Same with Brodzinski too. He's the other guy, and Rempe. I mean, if someone wants Rempe, you can have him if it's legit.
Usually fourth liners come in with like a package of like
Yeah.
like as you said, with a Kreider type
Yeah.
bigger guy.
Yeah. And then going to the D, Miller, Fox. Fox is here to stay. Miller, I see it would be hard for us to part with, but again, it's like right number type of thing. I just don't, or right like player in return. I don't see it, especially if they are pushing Trouba, Lindgren. Definitely, we will trade them tomorrow if we get the right thing. So, I think
It would be for another D.
It would have to be, yeah.
So I'd be really interested to see which ones on other teams are on the chopping block to switch things up.
There's a couple UFAs.
Pionk. I know Pionk is.
Yeah,
one
but
of them.
why would they trade Pionk
Yeah, you
when
wouldn't,
they're doing
yeah.
so well?
No, you wouldn't.
I think one of them that stands out, the problem is he's a little short, is Grzelcyk.
Matt
Former
Grzelcyk,
Bruin. I
I
forget
think.
what team he's on. Yeah, Matt Grzelcyk.
Is he on Pittsburgh?
Yes, yeah, he's on Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And they're selling. So, like, but he's shorter. And then you're going to have, like, a lot of small guys. You have Jones already, he's been playing great. You have Fox, who's small, but he makes up for it with his play. Grzelcyk is a good, hard-nosed guy. And when he played on the Bruins, his numbers were awesome in shutting down play. But he's been on the Penguins, who suck, and his numbers now are not good. So it's kind of like a little bit of a risk, but if you get rid of a guy and you work some trade options going on, like you could get him, I think, for not that much, and you could figure that out. No one else is like truly, truly safe. I think they would want to hang on to Schneider, but that means other teams would want him. I think same with Jones. You've seen good things from Jones. You've seen good things from Mancini. I don't think they're actively shopping them, but they said, for sale sign in the front lawn. So it's a potential that they work something out that way. I would hate that because I love what I've been seeing from Schneider, from Jones. I know Miller's had a bad year this year, but like it's tough for me to see him go when he has that athleticism and that ability to get the puck up the ice. I think the goalies are safe, but if Quick gets a return, then like okay, it sucks, but
Who's your third stringer?
I think it's Dylan Garand or it's Louis Domingue.
Louis Domingue.
Remember him from
yeah, I
Penguins?
remember him. Yeah.
So, and then we can go deeper. I'm not going to go too long on that, but like we can go deeper into the prospect pool. I think Gabe Perreault is the only untouchable, really. We called up Brett Berard for tonight's Monday night game.
What's the other guy?
And then Brennan Othman.
Othman, yeah, that was.
I
the
think
other guy
they are. It's a real possibility they get moved because if it's a great trade for the Rangers, why would any other team want to do it? Like they're not going to be like, okay, like I said, they're not going to be like, here's Draisaitl for Trouba and Lindgren. Like it's never. That's a massive player, it wouldn't happen, but like they're going to want something that sweetens the deal for them. Like there's people that need a bigger prospect pool. The Penguins need more prospects. If we do a trade with them and it comes back to bite us in the ass, it's going to suck. So that's a lot on everything there, but the main pieces that I could see move are those guys that they mentioned, Trouba, Lindgren, and Kreider. It's tough. This team could look really different the next time we speak on this podcast.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting looking from the outside because other than Matheson, we're not like Hughes already said that we're not looking to trade anyone. So
yeah, it's I'm a little freaked out.
It's good drama.
I'm a little
freaked
freaked
out
out
on my end. It's good drama.
Yeah. I don't.
Hey, the return might be good.
It might be good, and then
be
I
good.
might love it, but it just
Watch it be Kreider for draft picks or something.
no,
And it's like,
no.
all right,
There's
well.
no way they would do that because I think player for draft picks is a rebuild move. Retool.
Yeah, I know exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Retool is player for player.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
there's no way.
Kreider for who? I would be.
Maybe we should have another. Maybe next week, if nothing comes
Kreider
about, we could
for-
look at some of the free agencies.
Free agencies.
Free agents that are
Yeah.
out there. Yeah.
Very interesting. I don't know what I would expect if I had a player like Kreider. Like, what would you want in return?
I mean, he has offense. You can put him on the power play right away. He's fast. You can get him in a system that
So
works.
pretty
that.
high return.
I think you could get a high return for him, yeah, and that's why
Like
they're
a
waiving him. Like a who?
Hurdle type guy. No, maybe not Hurdle, but like a type guy like Hurdle.
I don't know if the Sharks would want to get rid of him.
It's not Sharks.
Isn't he?
Vegas.
Oh, Vegas. You're right. Shoot. Oh God.
No,
Why
no.
would they?
Like a skilled player like Hurdle, like that type of tier. Like, there's tiers to the players. I'd be interested to see the tiers that come back from this trade.
Yeah.
If it happens.
God. I don't know, man. It's gonna be something to watch for sure.
There's going to be a whole video of,
Yeah.
thank you, Chris Kreider.
Oh, don't say that, man. That's exactly what like. Well,
When he comes back.
dude, now I'm just thinking about when he comes
when
back.
he comes back to the Garden, he's going to
be like crying, and then
Yeah.
I'm gonna be crying. God. I hope they find a way to keep him, but it really seems like it's the end, and it's coming way sooner.
To be honest, when I heard the news this morning, came out of nowhere. I'm like, why Kreider? I thought he'd be a Ranger for life.
Me too, but it's what we said, right? Like, you need to give something to get something, and he's just the prime guy that, like, a playoff team, a team making a push would want, right? Even if he's not your top line left winger.
Well,
who's Winnipeg gonna give? We'll take Ehlers.
I don't know, Velarde.
Morrissey? Velarde? They just got him too, though, right?
They just got him.
Kings. I don't know.
If I were Winnipeg, I'd want Kreider, because that would solidify the power play, and I think I would feel really good if I were Winnipeg to get Kreider.
Yeah, but I mean,
Or Trouba. Back to Trouba. I mean, Trouba would not go
Trouba
back.
would not go.
He would
there,
not
no.
go back to Winnipeg. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay, I'm just looking at before we end to see if anything comes up. We have a guest. Our first guest appearance.
First guest appearance.
Mr. Benjamin Hine.
Benjamin.
Welcome.
Welcome. Please take my seat.
Don't unplug anything.
Don't trip on anything. I know the studio setup is pretty small, but please take my seat.
Ben and Ben.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Bigger Knicks fan though, right?
Yeah.
But
all
that
right.
doesn't necessarily mean you're a Rangers fan.
Just I'm saying Knicks over watching it hockey.
Okay.
A little bit bigger
I see.
basketball, football
Yeah,
fan.
correct.
How about them Giants?
Not great.
They're in a worse spot than the Rangers and the Habs are right now. Yes, but did you see today Malik Neighbors was like they were soft.
No one
Like everyone's soft.
Yeah. So welcome to our podcast. We had a little football banter there, and I just have a couple questions to ask you.
All right.
All right.
I mean, my own. I guess it's just really one. So trying to be as unbiased as possible. I know you're a Giants fan. Which team do you like better?
Were you listening to our first 30, 45?
I listened.
All right. Well, clearly I know more about the Rangers than Brendan does the Habs. So it's hard to...
What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's hard to...
You're saying which team do I like more as just a fan, or which would I want to buy stock in?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
That's a good
Because
question.
I am technically a Rangers fan, although I don't follow very closely.
Okay, yeah. Let's do the buy stock in.
Well, I
guess
guess I'm
more
not-
interesting. Well, Rangers aren't a down.
That's what I
as
heard.
Ben was
Habs
talking about.
are like this.
Habs are, but we're about to explode.
You're about to go like
a
this. Speed bump.
cryptocurrency.
That's it.
We're about to explode.
No. Speed bump. All right, give him your pitch, and I'll give. my
give me your pitch.
We've been rebuilding for the past
10 years.
3 years, 3-4 years. We gained first overall pick, and we've been getting top 5 picks for the past 2 years as well. Our
Okay.
most recent top 5 pick is going to be a star, no doubt about it. He's a star already. I say that because he's a star already in the KHL, which is a comparable league to, I guess, the AHL, which is just a step down from the NHL.
Yeah. It's the KHL in Russia.
Yeah, it's in Russia.
Continental hockey.
And
league.
he's a point per game, and he's
So
They say
but he's on the Russian gas. So
he's on the Russian
can't-
gas. But you know Kucherov, Nikita. Have you
yes,
heard of him?
I've heard of
He
Kucherov.
has a better record than him when he played in the KHL. So
Wow.
we basically gonna have the next Nikita
Kuch.
Kucherov on the Montreal Canadiens. And goalie wise, I mean, not that you know him a lot, but we are on the up as well. We got some prospects, and they're killing it. They're killing it goalie wise, and they're going to be the next Shesterkin.
No, they're not. That's a lie.
I'm just pulling that
That's
out
a
of my
lie.
ass. That's a bit of a lie, but they're good. And but offensively, we are about to explode within the next 2 years.
Okay.
I could say.
Okay.
Okay, Rangers pitch. You know some of this, right? Shesterkin, best goalie in the world. He's about
Yeah.
to get paid. It's going to be a lot, but he's about to get paid, so they're going to lock him up for a while. They just locked up Lafreniere, who
Okay.
has had a little bit of a breakout season last year. He pulls off these awesome moves. I see him being a potential next captain in the coming future, but good young stud winger on the team. You obviously know Panarin. He's been lights out this year. And honestly, he seems to get better every year. He was a little bit quiet a couple years ago in the playoffs, but he took that on himself, and he looked better this year. I still think we need to see more from him, but notice how I'm talking playoffs, because they haven't seen playoffs in years.
We've seen a Stanley Cup Stanley Cup Finals sooner than
An
they
appearance, and we both lasted 5 games. Ben remembers the
have. But that
2014
was within this
series.
decade.
So 2014, same decade.
No, the 2021.
2014 is in the same decade.
No, but it was in the decade of 2010. That doesn't. No, that's a different decade.
2010s versus, yeah, but I'm saying it's
2010s
within
versus
10 years.
2020s.
But either way, so great. So there's a lot of great players there in the next. We've been saying forever on our podcast, right? The time is now for the Rangers. It's kind of cup or bust. That's why there's a lot of volatility right now. That's why they're trying to make moves, because they think, all right, the last 3 years we've made it to the conference final, and then we lost the first round, and then made it to the conference final again. They think that the core is plateauing, but they've indicated this week, today even, that they're going to make moves and they're going to make trades because they want to get the core over that edge. Last team that I can remember doing that with someone who is so vital to the core is the Florida Panthers, who just won. Jonathan Huberdeau, coming off a 100-point season, right? Traded to the Flames. They brought back Matthew Tkachuk, and a year or two later they won the cup. That's what I see for the Rangers happening. And notice
Pretty bold.
the biggest thing that comparison that I can see, right, is Bobrovsky, massive contract, goalie for the Panthers. Everyone's saying he got paid too high. The reason the Panthers will never win is because he got paid too high, and they can't use the money for other players. But they did win, and
So
now
you think
now
they're
they're
gonna
saying
win
that
in the next couple
now
years?
they're saying that for the Rangers, you can't pay Shesterkin that much because teams can't win with that. Well, we just saw it did work last year, so that's the pitch.
So the Rangers being a team where they could win now or in the next few years, versus Montreal, they're on the uptrend of scoring, and will be great, potentially like the Rangers, but in a longer time span.
Decision time.
I think. So the Rangers got beat by the Panthers last year, who won.
Yes.
Miserably. They
Not
lost
miserably. It's
miserably.
game 5, 6. Yeah, it wasn't a miserable. It wasn't a sweep.
I think because of the players that have the recent deep playoff experience, I think that is a very undervalued quality to have in players in any sport,
Right.
because the playoffs are completely different. So I do think from my literal zero knowledge, it does seem like they maybe should make moves. Kind of like how the Knicks did, not to make it too
Yeah.
basketball.
No, we can
The
bring
Knicks
that
made a
in.
big
Yeah,
move.
bring it in.
Their record has been a little shaky recent. The season's still pretty early, but I mean, getting Julius Randle and DiVincenzo out, which were both good players. Randle was not good in the playoffs. I feel like there was maybe I'm thinking about the Yankees now, but were there any Rangers that were like good but then not good in the playoffs?
No, it's Zibanejad.
Zibanejad,
Okay,
for
right.
sure.
So
Horrible.
kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
I'd say
Yeah,
as
but they're
Randall.
not thinking of trading Zibanejad.
No,
Yeah.
no,
They
they
should.
are. They can't.
They can't.
Cannot. He has like a full no move clause.
Damn.
Like full.
Drury can make it. He'll make it
Drury will just put him on waivers, and then the Sharks will pick him up like they did with Goodrow. It's crazy.
That would be insane if a player
That
of
would
that
be
caliber
that-
would be
oh
put
my
on
God.
waivers. Jeez.
Yeah, that would be nuts.
So your answer being,
I kind of had a head start though.
yeah, you get well.
Yeah, I mean, I am a Rangers fan, but from
Which has better colors?
It's the same color.
Well,
This is also an alternate
which
jersey.
looks better?
what's that one?
That's the.
That's reverse.
You like the
retro.
baby blue?
I like that one.
Oh,
Is
baby
that
blue.
oh, is that Rangers?
No, no.
No.
Oh, that's
oh, see, he likes the
He likes the reverse.
retro.
Oh, yeah, no, that one's sick.
Okay, thank you, Ben.
Give
like
props. Give
Well,
props
I'm
there.
happy about that.
That's the one thing you can win. You have the
That's
better
one thing you can
reverse
win.
retro from 2 years ago.
And we have more banners on the, on the.
Well, not if the Rangers keep putting up regular season champs.
That's true. That's true. Which is not looking good this year. though.
No, they're not winning that this year.
And it's looking like another tank year, so it's fine.
For you, yeah.
A tank year, which by the way, the first pick again is not like consensus like a Celebrini or
It's,
Bedard. It's
Hagens.
It's Hagens, but it's mixed between someone named Malone and a couple others. So Hagens is not the.
Malone, that's a hockey name.
That's a sick hockey name.
Thanks for the
Nice.
contribution.
Thank you,
Yeah, of
Ben,
course.
for coming on.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Please like, subscribe, follow, send to your friends. We're on YouTube and Spotify. Can Blue Hockey Podcast.
Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you later.
Wait.
Sorry, this is the awkward positioning of the.
It's all good.
Yeah, good.
Are they